Okay, so in the last lecture, we discussed that analytical method is a way to solve question of projectile motion. And what exactly we do in this method? So we take two mutually perpendicular direction and we assign them a coordinate system, let's say Cartesian system X and Y. And once this coordinate system is assigned, the next step is we resolve the velocity and acceleration component along these two directions. And once we are done with that, we are left with two separate mutually perpendicular one-dimension problem. And we solve these two problems separately, and then we combine them together using vector notation, I cap, j cap, and k cap, so on, to get back the the actual form of vectors. So this will be the modus operandi to solve every question. The difference will be in assumption of x and y coordinate. Okay. So let's start with the. Shall we write something here? Let me write it down. So in this method, we in this method, we take two mutually perpendicular direction, and now look at this, read this carefully. First, we choose the direction, and then we assign the Cartesian coordinate system, and then we assign the Cartesian coordinate system. Step 2 is resolve initial, or you can say any, all velocity vector, resolve velocity vector and acceleration vector along these two mutually perpendicular direction. Use kinematical equation in one dimension for these two directions. Solve and recombine using I cap, j cap, k cap notation to get the complete vector. And then, of course, the last is interpret the answer accordingly. So these are like steps you can call, which you will follow for every problem. And it won't be very difficult for you to get the idea. So we'll start with the first topic of today will be now. Let me tell you very clearly, from here onwards, the kinematics is entering into the second phase. This is called kinematics 2. And this will be bit more difficult than the previous one. So be very careful in understanding the derivations. And again, try to learn the way I derived the thing rather than trying to remember the formula and then making the same mistake. So we have something called horizontal projectile motion. Now for projectile motion, is it possible to throw something from the ground and call it a horizontal projectile? Like if you just throw along the floor, is it possible? Yes or no? If I throw something horizontally on the floor, can we say this as horizontal projectile motion? Tell me guys, yes or no? Respond guys, yes or no? Hello, hello, 1, 2, 3, 1, 2, 3.
No, sir.
Everyone, see, you all have to respond yes or no always. Every time I ask.
No, sir.
No. So you can switch on your mic and reply every time I'm asking. So definitely, it cannot be called projectile motion because it is not moving in air. So for horizontal projectile, the condition is pretty much obvious. We must throw from certain height, right? Yes or no?
Yes, sir.
Yeah. Everyone, make a habit of responding, not only listening. So you must throw from certain height. Then only we call this as horizontal projectile motion. So we can call this height as capital H. And we are throwing an object. You may be throwing a ball, a football, a golf ball, or whatever ball. The initial direction of projection must be horizontal. That is why it is called horizontal projectile motion. So the initial direction of projection must be this way. Then only we can call horizontal projectile motion. And it must be thrown from certain height. If it is not being thrown from certain height, it will never be called horizontal projectile motion. So let's say you throw with some velocity u, called the initial velocity. And now again the same question. If I switch off the gravity, let's say artificially I have this capability of switching off the gravity. So if I switch off the gravity, will this ball ever come down to the ground? Yes or no?
No.
No, sir.
So how the ball will move?
Or only horizontally.
Only horizontally forever, isn't it?
Yes.
So you can realize that U has nothing to do with the, bringing the ball down. So who will bring the ball down?
Gravity.
Only gravity. You will contribute, yes or no?
No.
You will contribute, no. So it is the gravity which will bring it down. And if you draw the successive path of this ball, it will take something like this. This something path we call parabola. So what is parabola? A quadratic relationship between two variables. So now the question is clear that the ball will travel this path. I'll also prove that this is parabola, but as of now, let's say you don't know. So it is traversing this path and coming down to this location eventually. And it will make some impact with some new speed or velocity. Let's say it's going to hit something like this. Is this clear?
Yes, sir.
Okay. So now you're throwing the ball horizontally. It is about to hit the ground at some angle. Now, obvious question is to solve question of 2-dimension. See, we have no idea like how the value of G will vary over the path, because that is very complex. So the value of G at every point will be complex. So if I come to this point, the G value will be G cos something. Okay, so if I do a tangent. But if you come at this point, then G will again have a different component because the angle will change. Then again at this point. Now, what is the problem? That if you actually move along this path, the G will keep on varying. Yes or no?
Yeah.
Yes, sir.
So it is not a convenient way to solve, no? Because if G is varying over the path at every instant, then we cannot apply the kinematical question. Yes or no?
Yes,
So we cannot take any path which is curved, okay, to solve the question. Now the question is, because we are going to solve by the analytical method, I'll show you the geometrical method also very soon. So you tell me what will happen here, how we should choose the direction, which direction is better for us. Can you get the intuition that which direction is better for us? How we should choose the X and Y axis? Any idea?
Sir, if we take x in direction of u and y will be perpendicular to it.
Great. So it means it is logical that we should take horizontal as the X. I'm not saying it is necessary, but it is just logical. Do you realize this, what I'm saying?
yes,
So the matter of convention is that I can choose this as X axis. Now again, the problem is, okay, the question is where to choose origin, where to choose Y axis. So Y will be perpendicular for sure. And origin is again up to you. You can choose here, you can choose here, you can choose here, it doesn't matter. Again, for your own, you can say intuition, what do you think? Which is the right way to choose origin, like convenient way? What is the convenient way to choose origin, according to you? Everyone, tell me.
At the point of projection.
Convenient way to choose origin. Come on, guys, tell me.
At the base of H.
Yeah. So the base of which you can choose as origin. Always remember, these choices are your choice. And no one is forcing you to choose this way. Okay. And then the y-axis is this way, is fine, right? You may have chosen this as the x-axis, this as the origin, and this as the y-axis. Again, I'm not forcing you. It is up to you. So I'm choosing one of the convenient way. You can choose your own other convenient way. There is no restriction. The choice is totally an independent event, and every student is supposed to make their own assumption to solve the question. But once you have taken the coordinate system into consideration, what is the next step? What is the next step going to be? So the next step is think about position, velocity, and acceleration only in these direction. So when I say position, locate the coordinate basically. So these are some bare minimum habits which you have to develop. Position, velocity, acceleration. These are only 3 variables in the entire chapter. Position, velocity, and acceleration. So you have to locate the coordinate. You have to just write the coordinate value. Okay. So can you locate the initial coordinate of the particle, the object, ball? Yes or no? Can you locate?
Yes, sir.
yes, sir.
So if you look at what will be the initial coordinate of this ball,
H comma 0.
what is the x
0,
coordinate?
H.
0,
X coordinate is, yeah, the X coordinate is 0 and Y coordinate is H. And if
Yes.
I see, because see, once you hit the ground, your journey is over, right? Your journey is only till you are in air. So as long as the ball is airborne, the journey is continued, and once you're about to hit the surface, your journey is over. So what will be the final coordinate? What you know, what you don't know. Which coordinate we can say, which coordinate we cannot say.
we can say Y coordinate, but not X.
Very good. So X coordinate is a variable now,
Yes.
correct? Okay. So first of all, we learn how to write the kinematical equation in the two-dimensional case. So you have seen before, but let me give you a revision, a quick recap at the way of writing the kinematical equation in two dimension. So what I'll do is I'll write it side by side just for your own sake of understanding. So you have been writing V equals to U plus 80 in high school? Yes or no?
Yes.
But here we are going to write a Vx equals to Ux plus Ax into T and Vy equals to Uy plus Ay into T. And because it is two dimension, so we have to add the two components. And as I said, we generally take X and Y component. So how to write the V vector, because it's a two dimension. So how we can combine these two components to get back our V vector? Tell me, guys.
Under root Vx square plus Vy square.
If Vx is this much, Vy is this much, then what should be the V vector?
Acha, Vx I cap plus Vy check.
Very good. So how to get the speed of the particle, the net speed? What is the modulus? If V is Vx I cap plus Vy j cap, then what is the modulus?
Root of Vx square plus Vy square.
Very good. So in two dimension, you will start with the Vx, you will start with the Vy. Once you're done with the one dimensional analysis by taking the components, you have to recombine because the journey will not stop there. You have to recombine, and once you're done with the recombination, you have to then take the modulus. So you can call this as V. So in one dimension, that was not the issue because the only one equation was sufficient, isn't it? But now you have to be very careful. And not only that, because we are solving question of velocity, and because you have two components of velocity, Vx and Vy. I'm just doing hypothetically, let's say if this is Vx, then this is Vy. You will be asked to find the direction also of the resultant velocity. And this is called V vector. This is called V vector. And then you can find the direction by writing the tan theta. And how we write tan theta, guys? Tell me. Tan theta will be equals to how much?
Vy by Vx.
No. Vy by Vx, correct? And you can again add Vy equals to Uy plus Ayt upon Ux plus Axt. Now, what you need to remember that the resultant velocity is always tangential to the path of projectile. What you must remember? Tell me, guys. What you must remember? In any projectile motion, the resultant velocity direction will be always
Tangential.
to the tangential to the
Projectile.
path or trajectory. So it is always tangential to the trajectory, or you can say path of the projectile. So Vy and Vx are component, but V represents the resultant velocity, and it is always directed along the path, along the tangent to the trajectory. You can say this. So make a note of it, and better you can write it, please. So what you can see that the moment you move from the 1 dimension to the 2 dimension, the moment you go from high school to the class 11th, the V equals to U plus AT will convert into these many questions, and you have to deal with all these things at the same time. So we can write that, okay, here. The resultant velocity always remains tangent to the path or trajectory of projectile. So in the previous problem, if I go back and if I show, if I want to know what is the velocity direction at this point, what I need to do? To know the
So
direction of
tangent.
velocity vector, I have to just draw a tangent to this point, and it will look like this, yes or no? So what this arrow is representing, guys?
Velocity vector.
Velocity vector, yeah, this is your V vector at this particular instant. So when the projectile is passing through this point, the velocity vector is this way. Is this clear?
Yes.
So U is
Yes, sir.
representing velocity vector at the beginning. And this V is representing the velocity vector at some instant. Okay. So I can call V dash, and then I can call this is the final, we can say V vector. So these are vectors actually. Okay. These all are vectors. It is clear to all of you? Yes or no?
Yes, sir.
Yes, sir.
Yes, sir.
So do you realize that what are the things that we need to write in order to solve question of any two-dimensional motion? It is not about just projectile. For any two-dimensional motion, this is a way of attempting problem. So you always choose the Cartesian system. Okay. Anyway, so I hope this velocity relation is okay. You have really understood this. Now, what is the vector relation that we always talk about? Okay. So V equals to U plus AT, we can directly write as V equals vector equals to U vector plus A vector into T. And again, this is the recap. If you have seen the vector lecture, you remember that a V vector is representing a resultant of two vectors. One is called U and another is called AT vector. Okay, so you can think as a resultant equals to A plus B if you have seen this in vector. Have you seen ever? Tell me, guys, yes or no?
Yes,
Yes.
sir.
So what are V representing? The resultant. Okay. So the V is the resultant velocity. Can we say? What is U? The initial velocity. And what is AT combined? AT combined is the the velocity addition. You add that velocity. So by virtue of acceleration, you add something to the existing vector. And because you add something to the existing vector called U vector, you get a new vector called V vector. Do you realize this? Yes or no?
Yes, sir.
You can think this way. Let's say if your dad is giving you a piggy bank, okay, and because you cannot give a piggy bank with empty piggy bank to kids, you put something. Let's say he puts a 10 rupee coin in the piggy bank. Okay. So the day you receive the piggy bank, how much money you have?
10.
10 rupees. Okay, that is called the initial velocity. What you receive at the instant when you begin your observation. So what you see as an observer, when you begin your observation is called U. So U is initial for the observer because you are starting to see that object, but it may be different for different. So let's say if you start your bicycle from your base of your apartment or building and you start riding your bicycle. So for the watchman, your initial velocity is 0. Can we say? Because watchman is seeing you when you took the bicycle from there. Yes or no? Tell me.
Yes.
Yes, sir.
And now you start to ride. So when you meet your friend in between while you're riding a bicycle, for that friend is a new observer, and what he will see or she will see that you're not at rest, you're moving with some speed. So for that, the initial speed will be different. Yes or no?
Yes.
Okay. And then you start, you see another friend, okay, and then you start, applying brakes. So when you reach the other friend, your speed has come down. So the initial speed will be different for that guy. So initial speed is not your actual initial speed from where you started. It is about the observer when he started the observation, what he saw, what she saw. That's the idea. So any observer is seeing something at the very beginning, that is called initial velocity. Initial need not to be 0. Initial can have any value. I hope this is clear. Tell me guys, yes or no?
Yes, sir.
Is this clear to all of you?
Yes, sir.
Yes, sir.
Okay. So V equals to U plus AT is saying you something that you start with something called U, and AT is called the addition. And because it is a vector, so the addition will take place in the direction of acceleration. Yes or no? Tell me guys. So let's say you throw a ball this way. Okay, let's go. You throw a ball this way. Okay, and there is a gust of wind coming from this direction. Okay, ignore gravity. So you throw something like this, and there is a wind coming this way, which will push you down, push in its own direction. So the direction of acceleration, the force which you experience will be in which direction? Can we see in this direction? Yes or no?
Yes, sir.
So because the acceleration is in this direction, so as time will pass, you will get more and more of this velocity, more and more. So the red arrow will keep on growing as time will grow, because that's a T is the scale actually. Okay. And therefore, if you look at the end, after some time T, so you can think this is T into A, and T is called the scalar coefficient, which means it is the scaling value. So you scale up the vector, and I hope you know the scaling or multiplication of a vector by a scalar meaning. So how the V vector we can represent using the triangle law? Tell me guys. So as per the triangle law, how the V vector should be? Tell me guys. I hope you all know the triangle law of vector addition.
The base of U.
So yeah, tell me how I should draw the third vector. From where to where?
From base of U vector till the head of A.
Yeah, from the tail of U to head of A, right?
Yes, sir.
Is this what you're saying? Tail of U to the head of A, right? AT vector. So this orange
Yes.
line is representing what? V vector. Now, in one dimension, that triangle will not appear to you. It will become a straight line. Everything is in the same direction. That's why there is no need to draw the triangle in one dimension. It's good to go by the direct formula or the equation. In two dimension, it is sometimes very powerful. So this is called velocity triangle. Now, what is really important or interesting to know that in two dimension, if you are particularly talking about the projectile motion, if you particularly talk about the projectile motion, then the G vector will be always vertically downward. So it is like the red arrow is predetermined. It is always vertically downward. So you can play with a U, but the GT vector is well defined. Do you realize this? Yes or no?
Yes.
Do you realize this? Everyone tell me.
Yes, sir.
Everyone tell me yes or no.
Yes, sir.
So if I have to draw V vector equals to U vector plus G vector into T vector, so you can think this is a resultant of two vectors called U. U is something which you decide, and G is constant vector, but T is called multiplier or scaling factor. So as T will grow in value, the length of the vector will grow, but not the direction will change. So direction remains constant. So T, as T will grow, what will happen? Tell me, guys. What will happen? As T will grow, what will happen? The vector length will
Increase.
increase or decrease or remain same. Tell me. What T represents? Time. So in any motion, T will always grow. Yes or no? Tell me.
Yes.
Tell me, guys. T will always grow. Yes or no?
Yes,
Yes,
sir.
sir.
And if T will always grow, then T times G will always grow. Yes or no?
Yes.
Yes, sir.
So you can always think, TG as you can create an animation in your brain in which that arrow is like a growing arrow. You can always animate in your brain. Can you create that animation in your brain? That TG vector is growing in length.
Yes.
Okay. So imagine if I tell you that you're throwing something like this, and this is U vector. From the tip of the first vector, you can draw the second vector called GT vector. And can you animate that GT vector and look at the V vector? So can you animate both? Try to see the GT vector. It is growing in value, in length. And try to see the V vector at the same time. And what you see and tell me. What you are seeing, how the direction of V vector is changing. Tell me. So at T equals to 0, V vector is same as U vector, yes or no?
Yes.
At T equals to 0, the V vector is U vector, yes or no?
Yes.
Because gravity will contribute nothing in 0 time. So now imagine this way. You can see the arrow of U. Can you also see the arrow of GT vector? Tell me yes or
Yes,
no.
sir.
Yes.
Can you see? And if you can see these two, can you see the V vector, the resultant one?
Yes.
Can you see the resultant one?
Yes,
Yes
sir.
or no? So what is the animation telling you in your brain? If I say this initial angle is theta, so as time will pass, theta will? As time will pass, theta will? Tell me, guys, what will happen to theta?
Increase.
Tell me. It will?
Yes, sir. Increase.
Theta will increase. Theta will increase.
Yes.
Theta will remain the same.
Theta will remain the same. No, theta. Okay, that's correct. Theta will remain the same. So what is the angle made by the V vector? how the angle made by the V vector will change. Tell me that one. Yeah, theta will be same because theta is theta, because this is how you have thrown. Can you imagine what is happening to the V vector?
Yes, sir.
Okay, what is the angle made by V vector at t equals to 0?
0 degree.
Angle made by V vector at t equals to 0.
Theta.
Theta, right. So as time will grow, then the angle made by V vector will create the animation. See, every animation must happen in your brain. The more you improve your imagination power, you will become more powerful in solving numericals.
Sir, increase, no?
Can you draw and tell me? You can annotate on this blackboard also. So how to draw this vector, the triangle? This is the U vector, and then how is the GT vector? Okay, what is the direction of G vector? Tell me. What is the direction of G vector, guys? Tell me.
Sir, down.
Vertically downward.
Yes, sir.
So how the arrow of the second vector will look like? From where I need to draw the second vector? In triangle, we draw the second vector from where? Tell me, guys, from where we draw the second vector?
Tail of U to ahead of GT.
Tail of
U.
U.
tail of U. In triangle, or
Head
the
of-
second vector we draw tail.
Head of U.
Head of U.
Head
The
of
arrow
U. If you don't remember the triangle, what is the purpose of learning the entire vector for 40 years? Don't remember the triangle. So the second vector we must draw at the tip of the first vector. From the tip of the first, we draw the tail of the second. Or you can say where the first vector ends, second begins. Is this clear now? Is this clear, guys? Tell me yes or no.
Yes, sir.
So how to draw the second vector? In triangle,
From head of U.
from the head of U. So you all take your pen and pencil or paper. You start drawing on your paper, everyone. Draw U and draw GT. So GT will look like this. If T is small, it will be here. As some more time will pass, it will grow in value. As more time will pass, it will grow in value. But direction remains same, right? So we can clearly see that the v vector after some time will be here. Then again after some time it will be here. Again after some time it will be here. Do you all realize this? So what is happening to the angle made by the v vector? Huh? Tell me. So angle made by the v vector with horizontal is first decreasing to 0 and then again increasing in the opposite direction. Do you realize this? Yes or no?
Yes, sir.
Yes, sir.
And this is the common sense part. If you're not able to draw all this thing in your brain, then probably you're not good or fit for the two-dimensional visualization. Everyone develop this visualization before you solve a question. So 90% question we solve in brain only. 10% we write on the paper and then we get the answer. Imagination in physics is very, very important. It is not math that you keep on writing and you keep on getting the new term and you keep on simplifying. In physics, as a student, we all force our brain to think more, think more, think more, till we get the imagination right. Understood? And this is not something that it will be written in a textbook which you will read, okay, improve your imagination. No. You have to force yourself to think and create the imagination of every situation. And those who are better at it can solve any question. That's it. So the difference between the Olympiad level problem and the general JEE problem and the JEE-Mains and the regular examination problem is the degree of imagination. Sometimes if we are able to imagine the situation, the problem is pretty much easy. When we fail to imagine, the problem is said to be tough. And now it is up to you only, whether you want to improve it or not. If you want to remain relaxed and solve only something which is formula based, all the best. And don't think about the JEE advanced. Stick to the CET or mains. If you want to go into the category of JEE advanced, you have to really think a lot actually. Not just in physics, in maths, in chemistry also. And again, let me tell you, like even in maths, if you're not doing the imagination, not doing the calculation on your own, not doing the derivation, okay, you're also not learning maths. So your maths level will be still the CET level. That's it. So make sure that you derive. So in this chapter, in chapter of projectile motion, don't try to remember even a single formula. It's good that you remember the formula by virtue of practice, but don't force yourself to remember the formula to get the answer. Rather, derive it in 30 seconds. Because no formula of kinematics can derive more than 30 seconds. 30 seconds is more than enough to get the answer. So the way you all are going to learn this chapter is through derivation. And none of you will try to mug up the formula and tell the answer. Okay. And also understand that in which condition, in which context a formula is derived. Okay. Like you all say, okay, the time of flight is 2u by g. Doesn't matter which question I'm talking about. Your answer is ready. Okay. Because you mug up. That's the problem. Okay, so this is all about velocity. The next is called the S equals to ut plus half at square. Now, how to write in 2 dimension if this is the 1 dimension which you studied in high school? How it will appear in this case, in our case, in 2 dimension? So first of all, S is called displacement. And what is the definition of displacement? Who will tell? What is the definition of displacement? Rugved, Prashant, tell me. What is the definition of displacement? Am I audible to you?
Yes, sir.
Tell me the definition.
So the shortest distance from the initial vector to the final position vector.
The shortest.
The shortest distance traveled.
What's
from
the problem? What's the problem? I have taught you 10 times. What's the problem? Why you're not learning? Why you all are carrying the same shit which you learned in high school? What is the definition of displacement? Rugved, tell me.
Change in position vector.
Correct. Unless you're not willing to learn, you will never learn. And I have told explicitly 1,000 times. Your high school definition will not work here. Shortest distance. What is this hell? Is distance a vector? Tell me yes or no. Is distance a vector?
No.
Then how you can define a vector in terms of a scalar? Keep your high school shit aside. Don't try to bring those signs and those definitions and those ideas here. And remember definition when some definition is given to all of you. Remember it. It is not for the sake of writing. So S equals to ut plus half t square. S is called displacement. And by definition, displacement is defined as change in position vector. That is important. Position vector. What is position vector? It is the vector representing a point in space with respect to origin. I hope this is clear. What is position vector? What is displacement is clear to all of you? Yes or no?
Yes.
Yes, sir.
So what is position vector? What is position vector? Siddhant, tell me, what is position vector? Siddhant, tell me, what is position vector? Quickly.
So position vector is basically
Basically, actually, terminally, these all are excuse that you don't remember. So what is basically? Tell me, go ahead.
sir position vector. It gives the exact location of the point,
What is
and
meaning of exact
displacement is the
location?
change in position vector.
What is the meaning of exact location?
So the coordinates.
Coordinates. So what is the difference between coordinate and position vector? No idea. Who will tell? What is position vector? Are you sure you know what is position vector? I just explained. If you have listened to this carefully, you would have answered.
So like we can say position vector is a is the position of a point with respect to the origin.
It is a vector representing, of course, a point with respect to origin. So then we call position vector. A vector representing a point with respect to certain origin is called position vector. So point is constant, but origin can change, yes or no? And as origin will change, the position vector can change. And what is the displacement?
So change in position vector.
Change in position vector. So displacement is something which is independent of origin. But position is something which is dependent on origin. Although very basic thing, but it's very difficult for you to remember. Remember the way it is taught, not the way you have learned. And stick to the definition as I'm saying. And let me tell you, like, not everyone going to IT are intelligent. Okay. So IT is no longer the same IT. If you want to really do something extraordinary, great, learn in a different way. And what is the problem with the definition? Why you guys don't remember even a single definition? What is the problem? Definition is something which you can understand. If you understand definition, then you can reproduce the entire formula. So we go from definition to derivation to application. So if I draw some x-axis, if I choose some origin, so if this is the origin, so at the t equals to 0, you may be somewhere here. And after some time t, you may be here. So where you see yourself or a particle or anything at t equals to 0, we call x naught. And we call y naught, I mean, this has x in general. So your displacement is from where to where? This is your displacement in time t. Understood? So basically, this is your s. So how to write now this relation?
X minus X naught.
Yeah. So x minus x naught is the displacement. That is the first part. S, you have written the s part. And then you can write as a ux, the x component of velocity into t plus half into x component of acceleration into t square. This is how you are supposed to write the relation in 2 dimensions. Similarly, what about the y-axis? How we should write the y-coordinate relation? So you can choose this as y-axis and then you can call this is y-axis, this is origin. And it is quite possible that at t equals to 0, you may be here. So wherever you are at t equals to 0, we called y0. So here the coordinate is 0, y, and this is 0, y naught. And y naught we measure from the origin. So how the question will look like? Tell me, guys.
Y minus Y naught.
Y minus y naught equals to
UYT plus half AYT square.
so remember the definition, remember the way of writing. what you're learning now, what you have learned in high school, if you're not forgetting it, if that is occupying entire your brain, then there's some problem. You're not learning anything. So there is simple, I'll tell you a story. Okay. So if you want to learn something, then make yourself as empty ball. Okay, empty ball is a ball which is not just empty, but also sterilized, clean. Because if your brain is already contaminated, whatever I'll pour into that ball, what will happen? It will get also contaminated. Not good for consumption. Okay. And if it is already filled with something, it will overflow. Nothing will go into your brain. So make it empty and clean both. And listen to it very carefully. In the entire world, listening is the biggest missing skill actually. No one wants to listen. All wants to say. Unless you're not able to listen very carefully in any classroom, whether it's me or it's your coaching class or whatever, even your parents or your friends, you will never improve if your listening power is not good. Because the ability of listening is you are very much focused. Your brain is ready to learn something. And when you really listen, you learn actually. That's why in most of the US examination, they have the listening section separately. They know that listening is important for learning. And if you fail in the listening section, you will fail in the NEET examination. In India, we don't have that. Do you know this fact? In all the IELTS, GRE, SAT, you have to write the listening, you have to write an examination called listening section, where they will play the audio and you have to answer the question. Understood? So prove that you are a good listener. So now the same question, the S equals to UT plus half d squared. Now we have to write in these two ways. You may write this as Sx, you may write this as Sy. Displacement along the x-axis and displacement along the y-axis. And now comes the vector relation. How to write vector relation? Tell me. In vector, how to write S? Who will tell? Rugved, do you remember how to write vector? Displacement. Harry, tell me. Do you know?
Sxi plus syj.
No. How to write displacement in vector notation? What we write? So you are at this location and then you move. Let's say this is the projectile motion. You go to this location. This is called your initial position. And this is called your final position. Nothing you remember, nothing. And what is the displacement? The line joining the initial position to the final position in this direction. This is called displacement, and this we represent as delta R. Now you remember delta R? Do you remember this now? Yes or no?
Yes.
Yes.
You all will go back and revise the entire vector before the next lecture. Go and revise. If you think that you will do good in physics without learning the vector, then without vector, anyway, you're losing 70% of physics. And without derivation, you will lose 30%. You left with zero physics in your life. Understood? Let me tell you, there is no relation between in Indian education system and the learning and the marks relation. There is no relation between learning and marks. Marks cannot represent your learning. It is impossible the way the education is going on in this entire country. It is simply impossible. So don't judge yourself with your marks. Wait for it. Change the learning habits. If you really want to improve in the coming time, crack the examination JEE with ease. So how to write the S equals to UT plus half D square in terms of vector notation? What should I write here? I must replace S by? I must replace S by what? To convert it into vector equation, what we should do? Tell me, guys. Tell me.
R
This is called, how to read this term?
delta R.
Delta R. And you can go back and check your vector notes. It's written there clearly. Yes or no? And there are many questions that we solve based on this also. Tell me, yes or no?
Yes.
So why it is not in your brain? It is just the one chapter behind, right?
Yes.
If you don't remember the previous chapter, then how I can expect that by the end of the course, you will remember nothing? Shall I expect?
No.
And what do you think, that you can prepare the JEE like boards? Yeah? You will study 2 months back and you will get good marks and you will say, okay, think that, okay. Every parent think that, okay, because their child studied for just last 3 months and got very good marks, they are genius. That is the problem. As I said, marks is not a criteria. Unless you will not show the learning ability to me, I will not assume. Prove yourself. This is the second time you're getting the chance to prove, not the second, first chance. To remember the entire JEE syllabus, which is like ocean, one has to develop a technique through which, with least memory, you can store the entire information. And that is called correlation. You have to understand that what is the bare minimum I must remember to reproduce the remaining. Because it is simply futile to remember everything. It is ridiculous to remember everything. Because your brain won't be able to remember everything. What you really need to learn is the basic, which can lead to the other derivation, other answer. And that is how we prepare for JEE. Your entire 10th syllabus had physics, of course. Tell me how many pages you wrote in your notes for class 10th physics. Tell me. I'll tell you some scaling factor, like what is going to happen now. Only physics theory notes, not the numerical and all, which is solved in separate book. How many pages you think? Tell me, guys. Tell me your experience, everyone. Tell me, Shreya, Arsha, Harry, everyone, tell me. How many pages you wrote in the entire 10th? Prashanta, do you remember? How many pages you wrote, roughly? A thin register, thick register? 2 register, 1 register?
Or maybe 2 or 3.
How many pages? 400 pages? 200, 300?
300 maybe.
300. So I'll assume the same, roughly same 300 for all. You know how many pages you will just write as a theory in this JEE preparation? Can you guess? Anyone? Can you guess? Siddhant, what do you think? How many pages it will go? A rough estimate? Rugved, can you guess? Harry, can you guess?
100, 150.
300 in 10th and in 12th, 100 and 180.
500.
So 300 in there and here 500 only.
So around 2000.
It is roughly 3000. Yeah, so it's close. So tell me how powerful your brain is. Can you remember all the 3000 pages? Can you mug up like you did in class 10th? Is it possible humanly to mug up 3000 pages only in physics? Then again, same for maths and chemistry. If it is humanly possible, let me know. Is it possible, guys? Tell me yes or no.
No, sir.
So those who qualify, what would they do? What they do? How they prepare to remember all this thing at the end of the day and then still qualify? So the first thing is, even including topper, they don't remember everything. They remember roughly 80%, 90%. They don't remember everything. So even rank 1 cannot remember everything. They remember up to 90%. On an average, a student remember just 70%. A good student, I'm saying those who are going to get top 1000 rank. And those who just qualify 10,000 rank, 12,000 rank, they remember only 30 to 40. I mean, 40%, 50% roughly. To get into IIT, even with 50%, you're good to go into IIT. And if you're a girl, then it will be slightly lesser, maybe 35%. So no one is going to remember everything, first of all. And to qualify JEE, you are not supposed to know everything, because that is a fact. But still, those who qualify with very good rank, they have one thing in common. First, they remember the basic thing called derivation. They remember the simple thing called definitions, which are very simple, and it can be reproduced by simple logic. And they know that how to get the derivation done on the go. So they are not scared. They do enough practice at home that when the actual examination comes, they derive everything in no time. And actually it takes just seconds for the good practice student. I mean, those who have practiced really well, they derive everything from scratch in no time. And they write so fast that even they can write to 1 to 2 pages in no time. Because that flow comes through rigorous practice. So if you are thinking, if your mode of preparation is as per the way you studied for class 10th, I'm really sorry. The only thing you can prepare with that method is CET in Mumbai. And you can get good rank, not an issue. Many students, they mug up the entire their board syllabus, the Maharashtra book syllabus. They remember the formula also. And that is how they learn actually. So they mug up, they qualify, they go through it. But they, of course, they don't know physics for sure. Okay. So simple idea is you have to change the way of learning. And if you're not willing to change, don't blame me in the future. I'm telling you very beginning. Right now, I'm telling you. You have to practice till you get it right. And when you get it right, you can leave that topic. Go to the next topic. Don't prepare for your tomorrow examination, day after tomorrow examination. You prepare your topic, start with the topic, finish it off with a complete derivation, not just derivation, your own understanding that you have realized it. So when your brain says that, okay, I have really understood it, I'm not going to forget, then make a short notes that the key points which you must remember. And during the revision, you have to only revise the key points. So if you have rehearsed really good at home, then you can reproduce in the examination. So change the way you learn. I mean, I can understand that, okay, your schooling is really bad, except the good friends you got there. But education has taken a nosedive everywhere, especially in school. Okay, so the delta R is called the displacement, and we can write as u vector into t plus. And particularly when we talk about the projectile motion, so no need to feel bad what I said. Try to think about it, how we can improve. And you will realize all this thing in the later part of your life journey, what I just said. So delta R is u vector into t plus, we can replace by g vector into t square. And what you can realize here, that here both the vectors are growing in value as time will progress. Do you realize that this will also grow, this will also grow? Yes or no?
Yes.
So if you draw the triangle using these two vectors, so if you throw something in a given direction with some initial velocity u, then as time will progress, this vector will grow in length. So this u will grow like this. So this is u, this is ut, like this is 0, t0 means nothing. And as t will grow, this will grow from 0 to the value. So we can call this as ut. And similarly, in the formula of half gt square, it is basically t square by 2g. How to read? T square by 2 as a coefficient into g vector. So similarly, as time will grow, this vector will grow really fast because it is t square. And it will keep on growing like this. Let me keep it up to here. So this length is called half gt square. This is called the length. And then your displacement vector, your displacement vector will be this one. This is your displacement vector. This is called delta R. So let me show you this in the real life situation. So if you throw something, with initial velocity from here. So in time t, it will go like this. This is called ut. But in the same time, it comes down by half gt square. And I'm drawing the arrow till this point because the particle is here after time t. And that is why this is your resultant vector. This is your displacement because you started from the origin. So this is called delta. You can call this as ut vector. You can call this as half gt square vector. So lengthwise, it is very simple. This is delta t. This is half gt square. And this is your displacement vector. I hope this is clear to all of you. Tell me if it is not clear. Is this clear to all of you? Tell me, guys, yes or no?
Yes, sir.
Everyone?
Yes, sir.
So this is called displacement triangle. So this triangle is called displacement triangle. And the good thing is, once you draw a triangle, you can use the trigonometry to solve the question. That is the best way. Because the values half gt square is representing the length of the side. ut is representing the length of the side. Therefore, every time if you have a triangle, you can convert into, you can just use the trigonometric relation to get back the remaining side or the angle or whatever you want. So I'll show you that how a challenging problem can be solved with ease if you know the vector diagram, then solving using the analytical method. So I'll show you first analytical method for sure, because that is how we start learning. But at the end of every analytical method, I'll show you the vector method, which can give the answer in one line, almost instantly. So let's begin. Okay, the third equation. The last is v square equals to u square plus 2as, right? This is the third canonical equation.
Yes.
So how to write here? So you have to write the component wise. And this is what? X minus x naught. So this is how you write the third canonical equation. And we are done with the canonical equation. I hope this is clear to all of you.
Yes,
Yeah.
sir.
Okay. So what are we solving right now? Horizontal projectile motion. Okay. So we'll continue with the same assumption of coordinate system. So I'll call this as 0, this is x. And I'm taking the origin at the bottom. For no specific reason, as I said, it is just a matter of choice. So generally, in any question of projectile motion, there are some typical queries that we answer. So you're always interested at how much time it will take to reach the ground. That is the interest for every observer. Okay. So the first question is what? Find the, I can simply say, time of flight. Now you tell me one thing. Which component in this case, because we have the X and Y coordinate system, so which component will give you the answer for time flight, X or Y?
Y component.
Y component, right? And what you know? So when you come down, then what information you can get from the situation? So you know the displacement. So which displacement component you know, X displacement or Y displacement when you come down?
Y displacement.
So when you come down, what will happen?
So X displacement, no?
You know the X displacement? How much you have traveled in the X, do you know?
No,
No.
sir.
But how much you have traveled in the Y, do you know?
Yes.
The tower height is H, and if something is coming back to the ground, how much you have traveled vertically down? Tell me
X
guys, what is the Y direction displacement?
H.
H. How many of you realize that the Y displacement is known to us?
Yes, sir.
Yes.
Yes.
Everyone realizes that Y displacement is known to you? Everyone? Yes or no?
Yes, sir.
Yes, sir.
So
Yes.
because you know that the Y displacement is known to us, so you have to make use of it. See, you have to play with the information which is available to you directly or indirectly, tangibly, intangibly, or whatever. You have to search for the information. That is the skill you have to develop in this particular chapter. So as we move from the simple question to some challenging question and some really challenging and then super challenging question, the idea which really works is the ability to see the information. So as the ball is coming down, we cannot see what is X because that is itself unknown value. So this is unknown. The only information given is H. And because the displacement is known to you, so and you're looking for time, so displacement versus time relation we have to search in kinematical equation is space. So in the kinematical equation is space, which relation will give you this displacement versus time? What to use? First, second, third.
Second.
Second.
But in which component? X or Y or what?
Y component.
Y
Yeah.
component.
So what should I write here? Tell me. Tell me the relation I should begin with.
S is equal to UT plus half AT square.
Again, the same problem. Why you're not trying to learn something new? How we wrote it here? Again, the same question here. For Y direction?
So Y minus Y naught is equal to UYT plus half of AYT.
But since you have to tell, you have to change this habit. I mean, you're still sticking to the class 10th, I mean, class 9th. Y minus Y naught equals to?
UYT plus half of AYT.
So what you can do is you can make a table first of all. Before you begin solving question, you can make a table. And in this table, make two columns. And this is, let's say x, this is y. X component, y component. In kinematics, we have only three things: position, velocity, acceleration. Yes or no? Position, velocity, acceleration. Yes or no? Tell me.
Yes.
So try to write the coordinate. So what is the initial position? What is x naught? Tell me, guys, what is x naught?
0.
X naught means initial x coordinate, that's it. So looking at the coordinate system, can you say me x naught? Very difficult to read xy coordinate, right?
So x naught is 0.
What is y naught?
0.
0.
Y naught is 0.
H.
I mean, if you don't able to read the coordinate, then what I can expect? How difficult is to read the coordinate? Maybe it is difficult, I don't know. Are you guys really feel this very difficult to read coordinate? Tell me yes or no. Tell me, guys, is it really challenging to read the coordinate?
No, sir.
So how many feel this is challenging task to read the coordinate? Raise your hand. If you're not able to read the coordinate, then there is something serious about your maths. Your mathematical entire, the base is gone. The XY coordinate. So you will feel a lot of difficulty in maths also. What is Y not here? Tell me, guys.
H.
H.
So if I assume X to be the final position at the instant of hitting the ground, so this is unknown. What is Y?
0.
Very good. Now comes the velocity part. We are done with the position. What is UX?
U.
What is UY?
0.
Very good. Keep on adding. Then okay. So here, if I talk about VX and VY, both are unknown, right?
Yes, sir.
Both are unknown. Yes or no? Tell me. Do you know any component X or Y?
No, sir.
No, you don't know anything. But why I'm writing this? Because in many questions, they will mention the coordinate value, the X component value, or they will give you something from where you can derive. And so you can make use of it. So if, let's say, if Vx is given to you at some instant, then you have to make the use of it. Okay. So the position is done, velocity is done. What is next?
Acceleration.
Acceleration. And since this chapter is all about constant acceleration, so there is nothing like a initial acceleration or final acceleration. We have just acceleration. Yes or no?
Yes, sir.
So what is Ax here?
0.
And what is Ay here?
Minus G.
Minus. How many of you are not clear with the minus G? Why are at minus G? Is it confusing to you? Why we write minus G? Anyone who feel like not sure why we write minus? Please raise your hand. This may be a legit question to all of you. If you have really understood minus G, it's good. If not, don't hesitate, ask right away. So all are clear with minus G? Yes. Who said? Yeah, tell me. Tell me, guys. Is this not clear? Anyone having doubt that why I write minus G? Why
Yes,
not
sir, I
plus
am
G?
having doubt.
Yeah. So y means the coordinate system is this. And when we say y, it means upward. Okay. When I say x means right. How the G vector is always?
Downward.
And what I'm asking, what is the y value, the upward value? So because something is the downward, we are trying to write the upward, we have tried with minus sign. Understood?
Okay, yes, sir. Yes, sir.
Okay. For example, if I throw the ball this way, and if I choose the x-axis towards the right, the arrow is opposite. So ax becomes minus u, ux becomes minus u. Understood?
Yes, sir.
So that is how we choose the sign convention. If you have again doubt left in other part, or you can let me know. So the component part is clear to all of you guys. Tell me yes or no.
Yes, sir.
Yes, sir.
Everyone? Okay. So now we have the relation which we can exploit to get the answer. You are looking for time of flight. So when time is t, when t is replaced by capital T, you know the values of a different coordinate also. Can you substitute in the above equation and tell me the answer? What is the answer?
Under root 2s by c.
Very good. Everyone getting the answer? Practice in front of me. Practice now. Don't watch this video. It is not moving, it is going in front of you. You are learning. It is your job to practice. I have little to do with your learning part. My contribution is only 5% for the entire next 1.5 and so year. Your contribution is 95%. So your success, you can keep the credit of 95%. I will keep only 5. And so for the failure also, only 5% credit I take. You all have derived, everyone?
Yes, sir.
Yes, sir.
Are you writing on pen and paper, everyone?
Yes.
Who is not writing? Who is not writing? Tell me. I can ask anyone to send me the photo without any delay. You please take a snap and send me the moment I say. So you all have derived? Be honest.
Yes, sir.
Yes, sir.
Everyone. Everyone?
Yes.
Okay. So who will send? Okay. Rugved, you send me. Take a photo and send me. And always remember, if I'm asking to send, it means send immediately. This is my way of cross-checking. Okay. Correct. So y is 0. So for the sake of record, let me just write down. 0 minus h nothing g t square. And it is similar to the dropping form, right? If you just simply drop any object here, how much time to take to go down? How much time? If you simply drop it, how much time to take to go down? Same answer, yes or no?
Yes, sir.
Why same answer? Because in the y direction, we haven't given anything, right? And also we haven't given in the x direction, but x doesn't matter. So this x component of velocity which you imparted will take you forward. In the same time, gravity is bringing you downward. Do you realize this, what I just said?
Yes,
So
sir.
in the time capital T, gravity has brought you down till the ground level, in the same time, who has taken you forward? It was the initial velocity imparted. Is this clear?
Yes.
Yes, sir.
Yes, sir.
So more the u, farther you will go, and less the u, you will fall closer by to the tower. So u in no way affects the time of flight. So whether you throw slow or fast, it will take same time to come to the ground. Do you realize this? Even if you travel this way or this way all the way here, all will take how much time to come to ground?
Root 2h/g.
Root 2h/g. Because time calculation has nothing to do with the x component. Do you realize this effect?
Yes, sir.
So bigger path doesn't mean more time. Bigger path doesn't mean more time. Time is well defined. And bigger, I mean, you can say greater the velocity, initial velocity, you travel more in the x direction. Okay. So the definition of time of flight I have given, but now I will give another definition. So the definition is called range. What is range? So it depends on the situation. So in this case, the range is the, what should be the definition of range in this case? It is the horizontal displacement during one time of flight. Do you realize this? Is the definition clear to all of you?
Yes, sir.
Again, don't forget the definition. When I give definition, I expect that you will remember this forever. So what is range here? It is the horizontal displacement during what duration?
One time.
So what we are really looking for, x displacement or y displacement now?
X.
X.
So which formula we should use? First, second, third, which one? So range we represent by the symbol capital R. And in this diagram, this is the capital R from here to here. So tell me guys, how to get the range? Tell me.
Using
Second equation.
So what should I write here?
X minus x naught.
Equals to,
Uxt.
and the second term will be vanished because you do not have any horizontal acceleration, yes or no?
Yes, sir.
So second term will not appear, which is a good luck. And x itself is R, x naught is 0. Do you remember this? So when t is capital T, the x becomes R. Yes or no?
Yes, sir.
So R is simply ux into t. What is ux here? What is ux here?
Initial velocity.
So how much is that? It's given in the problem, no?
U.
U. And how much you got t?
Root 2h/g.
Root 2h/g.
So what's the difficulty? I mean, it's a very simple answer. Was this difficult to understand? Tell me guys.
No, sir.
So is this clear to everyone? Okay, what else you can inquire in the same problem? So you got the range, you got the time of flight. What else you can inquire? So you will be interested in knowing the v vector, the final velocity. And what you really need to understand that gravity is acting vertically downward and initial velocity is acting horizontally. So the x component of velocity cannot be affected by y component of acceleration. So no matter where you are, your x component will remain unaffected and it is always equals to u. Whereas the y component will change as per the time instant. So can you tell me what is the length of the vertical line? Can you guess? Can you guess the length of the vertical line? Okay. You won't be able to guess. So let's do this called velocity analysis. And because we are talking about the two dimension, so we can talk about the Vx and Vy separately, as I said. So what is Vx here? Tell me, guys. Vx equals to
U.
because there is no x, so this is always u. This means Vx is a constant quantity and not going to change. What about Vy? Tell me, guys, what is Vy?
Minus half GT square. Minus GT.
Very good. Because there is no uy, ay is minus g. You have to just substitute the formula. Are you guys getting the answer? Yes or no?
Yes, sir.
Everyone is able to get these two answers? Yes or no? Tell me. Anyone not able to get the answer? Anyone? Just let me know. Siddhant, Rugved, Prashansa, Harry, Arusha, Shreya, tell me. So you all have got the answer? These two answers?
Yes, sir.
Yes, sir.
Very good. So how to write the v vector then?
Root of U square plus GT square.
Beta v vector I asked.
Vxi cap plus
UI
Vy.
cap minus
Ui
GT
cap
cap.
minus GT cap. Very good. So this is how we write the v vector, and that's why the GT is the length of the y component, isn't it? Do you realize this? The horizontal component is of u length and the vertical component is of GT length. Do you realize this in the downward direction? Yes or no?
Yes, sir.
And that is why I said, how big is this length, the vertical length? What is this length? Tell me.
Minus GT.
Length, only GT. Minus
GT.
means minus itself means downward. That's why I have drawn the arrow downward, right?
Yes.
And the resultant of the two is the actual velocity at that instant, which is always tangential. Yes or no?
Yes, sir.
Do you realize this? Yes or no?
Yes, sir.
So basically, this was your U. And this was the GT. And this is your V vector. Which makes some angle with horizontal also. We call this angle as, let's call alpha or theta, you can say. So what is the value of tan alpha here? Alpha I'm taking below the horizontal. So we know this is length by GT. The other is base by U. So how to get alpha here?
Tan alpha.
This
Tan
we can,
inverse
yeah.
of
So you can do redraw here. This is your U. This is your GT. This is your V. That's why this is called the velocity triangle. Do you remember this? This is your velocity triangle. And this is the alpha. So how to get the alpha? We can add tan alpha equals to.
GT by U.
So if you know that a velocity vector is making angle with horizontal is alpha, you can find the time actually. Given alpha, you can find t. Or given t, you can find alpha. Yes or no?
Yes, sir.
So this relation is again very important to solve numericals. And this is called the velocity triangle. And because it's a right angle triangle, every side is representing the length of the triangle. So this side, the hypotenuse is of length V, the base is of length U, the perpendicular is of length GT. So what is the modulus of V? Either you can add the vector or the triangle directly. V equals to how much, guys? You can use Pythagoras also.
U square plus
GT.
GT square.
It is U square plus G square T square, right? Yes or no?
Yes, sir.
Okay. So when we get a y component negative, it means it is downward. That's it. If y component is positive, upward. If x component is positive, right. If x component is negative, left. I hope this is clear to all of you. Tell me, guys.
Yes.
Yes, sir.
Clear to all, everyone?
Yes, sir.
Now, if you substitute small t as capital T, what you will get? The final velocity, which is the velocity at the time of impact. So for velocity at the time of impact, or you can say just before the time of at the velocity, just before is better word. So what we are supposed to do? You are supposed to substitute V equals to U square plus G square capital T square. Yes or no? Tell me, guys.
Yes, sir.
And capital T we can substitute as what? We have derived this. What is capital T? Tell me, guys.
Root 2h by g.
So what is T square?
2h by g.
And this is a very typical answer which we got in the last lecture also. U square plus 2GH. Is this clear?
Yes, sir.
No,
Yes,
this
sir.
is not required. You can do it by the simple third equation directly. You can get the answer. So alternative method to get funnel is also there. So if you're looking for the funnel speed, see, this is required to get the time-based relation. This is called time relation. And if you want to find the relation in terms of final position, then we can use the third kinematical equation. So we can add V equals to under root of V square, Vx square plus Vy square. And we can rewrite Vx as, well, Vx is U, we know, this is written. And Vy we can add as Vy square equals to Uy square plus 2ay into y. Okay. So this is Uy square, and then to ay, which is minus g, and then y minus y naught, which is 0 minus h. So if you apply the formula directly here, you will also get the same relation. And see, all these things will get more clear once you practice at home. Once you do this derivation on your own, you will realize that there is no scope of making even a sign mistake if you really follow the way of writing. Okay. And once you practice this way, eventually you will develop the common sense, how to write, what to write. Okay. So this was the velocity analysis. You can do a lot of questions based on the velocity. What else they will ask? So this too we know. This is we know. Even at the time of impact, your x component will be same as u. The only difference is the y component. This will change. So this u will remain u, and you will be asked to find alpha. So they may ask you what is the angle of angle made by the final velocity vector with horizontal at the time of impact. So which means they're asking tan theta equals to how much, guys? So we have the formula here, right? So tan theta will be G capital T by U. Yes or no? From here. So at the end of the impact, the alpha becomes theta and the small t becomes capital T. How many of you realize this? I think this is difficult. No?
Yes, sir.
So you all realize this? Tell me yes or no?
Yes.
Yes or no?
Yes, sir.
Yes. Very good. So what else they can ask? So we have done the velocity analysis. And there is no need to do the acceleration analysis because the acceleration is very much known to us. So what is varying here? Yeah, velocity is a variable. We do have a position relation. So when you throw something, so as the ball will, move in this air, so as it will move at any instant, the coordinate will change. We can call this at any instant t. So at t equals to t, let's call x and y be the generic coordinate of this particle. So how to get the x value as a function of time t, guys? Which equation will give me x as a t function? I simply want to know what is x coordinate, that's it. I want x coordinate as a function of time t. Tell me what should be the answer?
UT.
Ut, because the x displacement is anyway due to the u itself. The gravity will never let you go x, right? Or you can use the kinematical equation x minus x naught equals to x. I want to know x naught is 0, ux is u, t is t, other is 0. This is pretty much simple. X equals to ut. Similarly, can you tell me the y coordinate as a t function, time function? Tell me, guys, y coordinate as a function of time t. Again, the same problem. Like, are you guys not understanding what to do? Huh? A simple question I'm asking. Y with T relation. How to proceed?
Half GT square.
See, I'm asking for position. You know, position. I'm not asking for displacement. Do you realize this? What I'm asking? What X and Y signifies here? Displacement or position?
Position.
Position.
So you have the equation, no? Do you know how to follow the equation? Now write it down. How difficult is this? Come on, guys. I'm not getting how you're learning things. I mean, what is in your brain going on? What kind of storm is happening there? You're not able to listen actually. Position, displacement, you're all mixing everything together. There is no clarity of things. My question is find y as a function of time t. Where I ask to find y displacement, I simply ask what is y. So which kinematical equation we need to proceed with? Tell me.
Second one.
So in the second one, which one? To get the y coordinate, what we should write here?
Y minus y naught equals to UIT plus half UIT square.
So how many of you have written this question? Raise your hand. That you have written this in your notebook. Only 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. Can you substitute now then? Can you substitute value? Yes or no?
Yes, sir.
You know the origin is here. Can you substitute?
Yes.
So what is y coming? What is y coming here? Tell me.
H.
Y here means in general y, not the final y. What is y here? Siddhant. Everything we have written already in the last page. You're only supposed to substitute here, but you're not able to substitute even single value. What I can do? Tell me. I'm waiting. You tell me. Let me know the answer. I'm waiting.
0.
What are you doing? At any time t, I asked. No? Did I ask at the end of the journey?
And no.
Then spend time in realizing the question. See, it's not again. See, I'm not doing something regular thing. You have to listen to everything as per the logic. Apply logic, not develop it. Got the answer? Tell me, guys, you got the answer? Anyone?
Yes, sir.
I think the question is not understood. I hope that your question itself is not clear. Can you tell me what you're trying to find? What you are trying to find here? Tell me.
So y coordinate of P.
Y coordinate at which instant? Beginning, end, or in between?
When T is equal to T.
At any time t. So you have equation in front of you. You are just supposed to substitute the value. Why are you not able to substitute? Tell me.
Sir, is it h minus gt square by 2?
Correct. Finally, I got this. This was a simple mechanical process of writing. Think about like how you learn. Like there is something is happening. I mean, there must be something
No,
like
because in the previously
Yeah.
in the table, their y value was 0. So there is a possibility they might have
See, it's
written y
written-
as 0.
see y is not 0. Y means this was the final. You can call y final. Y final. It was not y. Every word, every sentence in physics, you have to break it down, listen carefully, and stick to what is being said. Don't apply your brain. So you're not supposed to answer with your own idea. You're supposed to answer with the idea taught to you. So in the very beginning, we are learning physics. It is very, 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 very important. You only stick to the things said to you, the definitions, derivations, concepts. Because right now your ideas are very immature and will lead to most of the erroneous result. Because the way you feel is not the world is behaving. Yeah, maybe after 6, 8, 10 months, when you are a really learned person, then your ideas will start shaping into the actual idea. Okay. So Newton thought that the world is going as per his law, and his idea was almost, taken by everyone in the world. Then came the Einstein, who showed the world that there is a different way of looking at it. So he defined that the reality itself is very complex. So your reality, your perception about reality is not the reality. Reality is something very different. So we are not mature enough to understand those ideas. So similarly, right now, if I'm saying stick to the definition, formula, derivation, you just proceed as per it. I'm not asking you to answer the question. I'm asking just substitute the value. Can you get the answer using the formula itself? If you're not able to substitute, then there is some problem. So there's some problem with the learning process. I mean, your understanding, your concept, you're missing something. So you have to figure it out what I'm missing actually. Okay. So now we have the question 1 and the question 2. What is common between equation 1 and 2? I mean common variable. Which variable is common to both?
T.
T. So now the next concept that you have to answer is, and this is, see, I will tell you, this is pretty easy to do. I mean, there is no need to do all this calculation, but this is the way of doing it. You could have done simply that in time t, you will travel ut forward, that's it. And gravity will pull you downward with half gt square. If you remember the last, the relation which I discussed. So this is ut and this length is half gt square. So the common sense says that the height from the base will be how much? Because we measure the y from base, no? This is called y. So it is clear that x is ut and y is actually h minus the vertical drop from the due to gravity. That is common sense. But this is common to me, not to you, isn't it? Why? Because you haven't realized. So learning and realization are two parts of, you can say, learning itself. So not just because you have seen something, you have really understood it. So x is ut, which is obvious that every displacement in horizontal is due to the u only. I'm saying it, you're listening it, but still it will take some time to realize it. So x is ut. In the same time, gravity will pull you down with half gt square. So your half gt square vertically down. I have said it, you have listened to it, but none of you have realized it. And that is why the y value is only h minus this value. I have said it, you have listened to it, but none of you have realized. Understood? And if you have realized, then what was the purpose of teaching this displacement triangle? Again, I have said it, I have written it, you have seen it, you have listened to it, but none of you have realized. So there is a difference between learning, listening, and realizing the concept. How the realization will come? When you spend time with it. I know that just because a teacher is saying no one will become genius. So that is why the same teacher and it doesn't work for many. So those students who spend time to realize, the teacher will work for you. And those who do not spend time to realize, no teacher in the world will work for you. Let me tell you very clearly. So if you really want to understand the concept of physics, you have to spend time in realizing it. And if you're not realizing it, you're not learning it. So what I'm saying, what you're listening is not enough. It was never enough. It will never be enough. It is clear? Is this clear to all of you? What I just said?
Yes, sir.
So do you spend time in realizing the concept on your own? How many of you spend time to realize it? Not to read it or listen to it. To realize what exactly happened. Everything said cannot be, understood in one class. It is actually difficult. It is impossible that the content which I deliver in one lecture can be understood by you also in one lecture. It's impossible. It is simply impossible. It never happened, even with me also. So you have to spend time. You have to stick with the formula derivation. Spend time till you feel it the way I'm feeling right now. And once you feel it, you can play with it. So you can see that either you do by the conventional method, which I have given to you, or if you have really realized it, the entire idea of projectile motion, you can just do it in mentally actually. So the journey from this conventional way to going to this step, that demands realization. Learning is done actually. Teaching part is over. My role is over. Now begin your role. So are you ready to do your role with honesty? Tell me, guys.
Yes.
All of you. Are you all willing to learn something? Really? Everyone.
Yes, sir.
Yes,
Or
sir.
you think that, okay, a teacher will force you to learn, huh? So do you realize that, you see, there is a limitation of a teacher. As a teacher, we can only deliver concepts. In some of the lecture, I may give you motivation. In some of the lecture, I may give you some extra, pep talk. But it is not even possible for a teacher to continue doing the same thing again and again. Try to realize we have a vast syllabus to finish. It is simply vast, and my teaching will never be enough for you. So what is my role? Let me very be clear with the role of a teacher and a student. My role is to give you the content that you should be aware of. Okay. My role is to give you exposure about the kind of question you will come across. Now, can I take care of each and every question? Is it possible to solve each and every question in class itself? Because roughly there are 15,000 questions. Can I solve every question in class? I can. It will take 5 years. That's it. Do you have 5 years? Do you have 5 years to prepare for JEE
No.
No, sir.
or any competition? So if I am solving, let's say, a few thousand questions here, then to get the bigger picture, few thousand more you need to solve at home, yes or no? Tell me.
Yes.
I'm going to solve, let me tell you, I'm going to solve few thousand, like roughly 2,000 questions in class itself. I will be solving those many questions. 2,000 to 3,000 questions I'll solve in the lecture. Then rest you have to solve at home if you really want to grow. And every student who is qualifying in Olympiad or JEE Advanced or any in NIT, they are doing it. And there is no competition in the market. There is no competition in the entire education. For JEE, there is zero competition. Because out of 10 lakhs aspirant, the one who is really studying is less than 2 lakhs. And out of 2 lakh, 1.5 will qualify. And out of 1.5 lakhs, only 20,000 are like eligible to, they really know the physics or chemistry, maths to get into IIT. And out of 20,000, anyway, IIT is giving you 14,000 seats. So only 6,000 will miss, and they'll go to some NIT for sure. There is zero competition. There was never competition. From my time to this time, there was zero competition. There is no competition actually. It is all about, do you study for competition? So the crowd is actually just for, it is looking like, okay, there is a huge amount of, number of aspirants preparing. No, not all are preparing. Because 90% doesn't know how to prepare first of all. So anyway, 90% is out of race. It will take 3 to 4 years for them to realize. By that time, they are out of the race. Understood? So always remember, if you are preparing, you are into IIT. And let me tell you, very few prepare. And that's why very few are in IIT. So seats are enough. If there are 14,000 seats, that is more than enough. For any serious aspirant, IIT is having one seat. And statistically speaking, in India, the competition is almost zero. We have 14,000 seats and the aspirants are only 20,000. Where is the competition? Or maximum you can say 25,000. And I can give you the estimate actually. You name every big coaching. They don't have more than 50 students who are good in qualifying JEE. Just 50, I'm saying. Maximum 60. I'm talking about the top coaching institutes in India. That's it. Those who are having the all India branches, they will have, let's say 100, 250. Let's say 200, come on. And there are like just 10 big names in the entire India. 2000 maximum. So if you take all the small big coaching into India, then, and if you look at the series, let me tell you, there are cities in which the total qualifying students are under 20. I'm saying the entire city with a huge population. And there is no competition. So if you still think that JEE is having tough competition, the answer is no. JEE is having less student preparing for it in the right way. They are thinking that JEE will happen to them. It is like you will go to a mall and your parent will buy a shirt and t-shirt for you and you will be very happy. No, you have to earn it. JEE is different from other examination. Whether it's mains or advanced, both are same. So you have to prepare for it. It will not come to you. And if you think that, okay, just because you have paid handsome money to me and you will get every education from me, and I'll, move the magic wand and you will get everything in your brain, that has never happened. So understand my role, understand your role, and work for it. I always want to be very transparent. I'm a transparent guy. I will not give you the false hope. If you're not preparing in the right way, there is zero chance. Zero chance of qualifying IT. It's bad to, keep you, false hope. If you're not solving even 20 questions per day, there is zero chance. So change it. Once you change, things will be in favor. And there is no competition. Trust me, there is no competition. If you are really preparing, you are into it. It's very simple. So what is the equation of trajectory? Any idea? So on a y-axis plane, the path which we have drawn, which I have drawn, is representing the locus of point traversed by the particle. And this locus we represent in mathematics as function, right? So we express the y coordinate as a function of x. So can we do it here also? I would like to express y as a function of x. And to do so, what I need to do, tell me.
Sir, we can find time as a
These two equations is given to you. Can you express y as a function of x? That is called locus. So what we need to do to get the answer? Tell me. So we eliminate the common variable. That's simple. Because we want only relation of y with x. Nothing should come in between. No other variable. It is clear?
Yes, sir.
So how to eliminate? Can we eliminate?
Yes, sir. We can write time as u by x and then put it in second equation.
Very good. But it is just x by u, not u by x. So this implies t equals to, and this t you can substitute here. Correct? So because x is ut and y equals to h minus half gt square. So what you are supposed to do? Substitute the common variable. Understood? Substitute the common variable. So from we can add 1 implies what? T equals to x by u. And then substitute the t in the other question. So 2 implies y equals to h minus half g, and the t we can write as x by u whole square. So y turns out to be h minus so this is called equation of trajectory. It is clear? Tell me guys, it is clear, yes or
Yes,
no?
sir.
Yes, sir.
What else they can ask? So once you are having the relation called equation of trajectory, in projectile motion, every question can be solved if you only know the equation of trajectory. So there are many questions you will come across which can be solved by knowing the equation of trajectory. Understood? Okay. So given the equation of trajectory, how to proceed to solve question? Solution based on equation of trajectory. So we have y equals to so what is constant and what is variable here? So y and x are variable, but the remaining are constant, right? So dy by dx, can we differentiate? So dy by dx, how much is the answer? What will be dy by dx, guys? Tell me.
minus gx by u square.
Minus gx by. So h is the constant, will become 0. So once you differentiate, it is 0. And differentiation of x square will be 2x. I hope you all know the differentiation.
Yes, sir.
And negative is representing something. It means the slope is negative, so it is obtuse angles, and that is obvious that if we draw the this, then tangent to any point will be pointing downwards. So that's why the slope is negative. If I look at a position called x comma y, then dy by dx represents minus tan alpha. Why minus? Because it's below the x-axis. Or you can say that for positive x-axis, any angle which we measure in the clockwise sense, we write tan of minus alpha. And tan of minus alpha is minus tan alpha. That's a property from trigonometry. So you can clearly see that given the angle, we can find the location or the coordinate, or vice versa. So minus gets cancelled out. We can add tan alpha equals to. And because if you remember that x we can also write as ut. So the answer is same as before, right? If you remember. gt by u. Do you realize this? Tan alpha relation gt by u. Okay. So when I say do you realize it, it means it will take some time. You may or you may not. So because of the vast syllabus, I may give you a lot of content in one lecture. But you have to spend the same day, you have to go home like you are at home now. In the same day, you have to make sure that you have realized also. And that will require effort. Is this clear? So everything
Yes.
said by any teacher, let me tell you, it's not about me, it's about any teacher. Anything said by any teacher, you cannot realize on the same day unless you have spent time to realize it. So something being taught to you is not something you own. You have to earn it again by spending time deriving again and then feeling it what is happening. And it's a vast thing. Okay. At one go, you will not be able to digest everything. Through practice of derivation, we actually realize. And once you understand the process, because see, I'm teaching you, so have I mugged up everything? The answer is no, I have mugged zero thing. So it is coming sequentially through some logic actually. This is called the logical way of knowledge flow. It's very organic way. So something is organically already designed by the nature. You have to follow it and derive it. So after this, and eventually we come to the final thing. Okay. So we have done with horizontal projectile motion. So everything is done. We can do now the sums to get some idea. So there is a biker. And he has to cross the ditch, which is D length wide. So he's a stuntman. So what is the minimum speed required to safely land on the other side? Minimum speed to land on the other side. Tell me. Solve this question. It's a simple question.
Done, sir.
What is the answer?
So root of GD square by 2 bracket H minus H.
This one, right?
Yes, sir, like this only.
But you said
But
GD
the
square.
I said V on the other side and everything on the right side.
Okay, okay.
V on one side and other.
So V minimum is like this under root, right?
Yes, sir, I said this. Root of GD square.
Yeah, very good. So how many of you got the answer? Tell me. Everyone getting the answer? So your vertical displacement is known to you, yes or no? And if you know the vertical displacement, it means you can find the time of flight. And D is given to you, which is like a range to you. Given the range, can you find the initial velocity? I hope this is clear to all of you. It is clear? Yes or no? Tell me, guys. Is this clear to all of you?
Yes.
Prashansa, Rugved, tell me. Are you getting the answer?
Doing.
Hmm?
I'm still doing.
I've been doing. Okay. So those who have done, Persons, are you doing it, or you're not getting it at all?
So we're trying.
So first you need to realize that what is given and what is not given. And once you realize, it's very simple. Okay. The next problem. So imagine you are in a cricket stadium, and you must have seen that there's chair, for sitting arrangement. So you simply roll down a ball with some initial speed u. The vertical height of every stair is h, and the width is b, and so on. And imagine it is falling at the edge of nth step. So this is called the first, second, nth step. So this is given to you that it is hitting the nth step just at the edge. So find the u. What is given to you? The place where you're hitting it is given to you, and you're supposed to find the u value. For what u this will happen? The n is given to you. So the values given to you is n, h, and b. Solve it.
So can you repeat the answer to the previous question?
You can see for yourself. Is this clear now? Tell me what is given to you. If you're not able to solve first question, then let's discuss that first. What is given to you?
So I'm getting the answer as d by root of 2h minus h by g.
Different from this answer? Is your answer different from this answer?
No.
Same answer, no?
Yeah, got it.
Okay. So the next question is simple extension of the same. Can you do it now?
Sir, I got the answer.
Yeah, very good.
Yes, even.
So what is you are getting?
Sir, under root 1/2 G and B square by H.
Under root of
G and B square by 2H.
G and D square by B square. I mean,
B
okay,
square.
G and B square by 2H like this.
Yes, sir.
Yes, sir. Same.
Okay, very good. So first of all, I hope you all have realized that if you are hitting the nth step, how much you are falling down?
NH.
So time of flight will be the height you travel down under root, right? And what is the range here? Range is how much? So first step is B length. So second is 2B. So nth step is NB. Correct? So range
Yes,
is
sir.
given to you as NB. And how we write range formula? Range is the horizontal velocity into time of flight. So the U turns out to be NB upon T. And T is 2NH. N square B square G by 2NH. So the answer you got is correct. Tell me guys if you have doubt in this. Anyone? Rugved, you got the answer?
Yes.
You understood the answer?
Yes.
Simple question. Let me do this simple question. Sometimes very simple is also required. So let's say you're playing a game in which you are supposed to throw a ball into this bucket. And the bucket is at a distance of 10 meters away. Okay. And the height is also 10 meters. So with what speed we must throw the ball horizontally to land in the bucket? Tell me guys. That's very simple.
For 10 by root 2.
10 by root 2.
Yeah.
So the equation which you wrote, can you tell me that equation which you wrote?
So I did it from the range formula.
Okay, so range equals to U
U
into
root 2h by g.
oh. So the answer is how much?
10 by root 2.
10 by root. Okay. And now the question is, so when it will fall in the bucket, with what speed it will hit the bucket? Find the V. So V is how much? What is V? This is that formula, right? You can derive
Root
it. That's fine.
250.
So it is 25 plus 20 into 10, which is 225. 15 is right answer. You said 15, no?
Root 250.
Sorry. Correct. It's root 250, correct. So V is U square plus 2GH. U you got 5 square. So it's 50 plus 200. So this is the speed with which you will hit the surface. I think you will have no lecture, so I'll give you homework first quickly.
So can we find V by the formula? V equals to
Yeah,
U
you
plus LT.
But that will give you component, huh? Component. You have to use the vector formula. Which formula? V vector equals to UI minus GT vector, right? So for final speed, what you can add? V vector equals to U you got 5 root 2I. And T how much? How much is the time of flight? Root 2. At the end of the journey, right? The T you will get is root 2, isn't it?
Yeah.
So now you can find the modulus. It is 2 dimension. See, V equals to U plus AT, S equals to UT plus half T square are a 1-dimensional formula, isn't it?
Yes, sir.
And you are solving 2-dimensional. So you have to be careful that, okay, I'm only taking one component. So when you know both the component, you can write the answer, not with just one component. Understood? Is this clear?
Yes, sir.
So open your this sheet, which I have shared, the resonance sheet. Projectile motion. So there is a separate question. You can start doing the section A. I haven't taught you that oblique, but you can start solving because you know the basic derivation. So start solving. And there's a section B called projectile from a tower. So that you can solve all questions, the B part. So B1 to B4. Okay. Then you can solve question section C. So your homework is okay, rest after next lecture. So it will take one more lecture, and then you can solve most of it. Okay. So solve this question. Try to derive more. Okay. And you can also derive things on your own because you know how to use the kinematical equation in a way. But you will see more of it in the next lecture. It will take, I'll take 2 to 3 lectures of projectile itself, and then 2 lectures of relative motion, and then this chapter will be over. So keep on solving, keep on realizing. Spend time today with the all derivation. Try to realize it, what is happening in your own way, because see, everyone will learn in their own way. So once you realize, then come back to problem, attack the problem. You will find very much comfortable with every problem. Okay. Bye guys, take care.
Bye, sir. Thank you, sir.
Thank you, sir.
Bye.